106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Let's get this show on the road.
Before you say anything, prepare to shut the fuck up.
Screw me. I ripped ass at the ATM.
McLovin! Nice!
Sit back, relax, and enjoy Irrelevant Platitudes with your hosts, Peter Benici and Lil Dazil.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fire!
Happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to episode number 6 of Irrelevant Platitudes. We're your hosts, Peter Benici and... How do you bottle it? What'd you do?
Click the off button. I clicked the volume on or whatever.
Oh, so it was just on the whole time.
I did it off, and then I went to turn it on.
Finish the intro.
And Lil will bring you a relevant commentary on all things pop culture and relationships.
We're back. It's another week.
We are. It is another week.
How's your week, man?
Not been great.
Been one of those kind of
Been a fucking week.
flat weeks, I think, for everybody.
Yeah, it's been pretty shit. Firstly, you know, bleeding. It do be like that.
Well,
Secondly, just
Okay.
being a real shit week, generally speaking, for a lot of my friends. Love them lots. Lots of us are all really sad. But it has been.
this is very loud.
It is.
I gotta lower.
Feeling myself getting deaf. It's great. Yeah, I don't know. It's been a flat week. Tried to go to the gym as much as I could to kind of like boost my mood. Had a few tough
Does
conversations.
it help? For me,
with
I think the gym is like, it's become like level, and then if I don't gym, it goes down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
No,
I don't get the
ditto.
massive peaks.
Absolutely
I get like little
ditto.
bits, but keeps me kind of fine.
Keeps me flat, but I really needed
Fuck,
it
that's
this
depressing.
week. And
I'll go to the gym and it just keeps me okay. Yay.
it gives me the normal amount of dopamine that I usually should have. Yeah, no. It's been a hard week. I didn't really do all the things that I wanted to, but I saw a lot of friends because I needed to have company. I was feeling very, very alone. Mental health was just taking a big dip, but
Oh shit, I did not know that.
it was not great. But I mean, coming to the end of the week, my mum is coming to visit. I haven't seen her throughout all of COVID because she's back in Sydney. So this will be the first time I see her.
That's fucking exciting.
So that's the positive for my week, which I'm really looking forward to.
And you haven't told, well, there's some people listening, some people watching, you got lovely black hair.
I dyed it. Yeah, I gave
Yeah.
him shit for not acknowledging it earlier, but he had
I
some
did miss
things
it.
He was doing some things.
You know what? I was so spacey and tired. It was a Friday.
No excuses.
Is a Friday?
It's a Friday. I noticed that you're wearing a new shirt and, well, a different shirt. I haven't seen this one.
Yes.
Exactly.
See, I'm trying to vary it up.
attentive. And you don't
You
blend
haven't
into
worn
the
any of
wall.
that before. Hey, I don't blend
No, you
into the
don't.
wall. Excellent.
How was your week?
My week was also... well, no, actually, you know what? It was fine. It was great. It wasn't flat. Although I feel like at the end of it, it really bottomed out.
So we've just, like,
hard.
Opposite
So,
tracked.
yeah, the start of my week was awesome. I did heaps of cooking. Finally back onto
Your Instagram story. of the
Instagram story.
gnocchi. Oh,
the gnocchi.
so good.
The sauce was okay. It could have been much better. But I just had some leftovers in the fridge and kind of threw it together.
Not a fan
but
of
it was
leftovers,
nice.
But that's nice.
Yeah. By leftovers, I mean I had mushrooms and then I had
Oh,
eggplant.
ingredients that you can make a meal with. Yes.
Yeah, that. So I got back into cooking because cooking for me is way more therapeutic than the gym.
Yeah. No, me too. Baking for me though now.
It's a very exact science. To me, it's too high strung to be fun.
False. I used to think
Probably because I've never
it's
tried
intuition. Yeah, well, I only learned during COVID.
Yeah.
And it's at first it's about figuring out obviously technique because you can be more intuitive with your cooking with like savory dishes.
I think his
But if you
dad
just
taught me
don't
how to
get-
cook. A lot of it is feel.
It is totally the same.
And with baking, I can't just be like, here's some flour and some ingredients and I'll make something
But you can.
bakeable. It'll just
You can
taste like
try.
pure
No,
shit.
it'll taste good. It'll just fall apart. That's what I've learnt, at least anyway. I fucking hate reading instructions. Anything
mess of
top to
flour.
bottom that's more than a
Please eat
page.
me.
No.
And starting like a new gym program and stuff. So that's kicking off in full swing. We're on to push-pull legs.
That's awesome. We love push-pull. Well, question, what's the goal for you? Agility, endurance, strength? Like, what are you building up?
So it was supposed to be agility-ish, but like with the F45 stuff. Yep. But now it's just straight up weight loss. It'll be 100% weight loss.
Well, if that's your goal.
Yeah.
Good.
Heavy objects.
Awesome.
Up and down. But the gym I go to, it's getting so bad. The guy I train with, we're talking about it today, and it's just like throw a stone and hit someone who is a narcissistic fuckbag. What do you do? What do you do? It's a super cheap gym, and I think that's what happens when the gyms are cheap.
Yep.
But we should get into the drinks, hey? What do you reckon?
Drink of the week.
I guess for quite a while. So again, guys, this week we got lazy with the drinks.
But I'm having mine on screen this time.
Yeah.
Before
geez.
it was just a thing.
So we got double shot vodka lime sodas
taste
today.
like it though.
It's because the glasses are so big. You have to kind of add a bit of soda to flat, not flatten it. Give it some depth, hey?
Tastes like
but we're gonna go back onto the stomping grounds again. This is the last two.
You got to be consistent. We got to finish and pull.
Yeah. Just be more social and have more people at my house drinking alcohol. Now that everyone can move backwards and forwards.
That's an option as well.
Yeah. But all right, so we'll get fucking straight into it. Look at us powering through. Sneaky after credit edit.
Put your hands up on me 'cause I'm almost famous.
No, you're not.
Over to the PC for everyone watching at so obviously the Royals, that whole schmozzle.
Yeah, we spoke a little bit about that last week, but I suppose there's been more drama that's kind of unfolded in that.
Yeah, I guess we give everyone like a kind of quick overview. Yeah, it's fucking. Is it Harry? Harry? Yeah, the red-headed one, the young one, and his lady Megan.
Yes.
Have come back and just said basically the Royals are massive racists and
clap back big time.
Super not nice people, and they've cut me off because he denounced being a royal or whatever.
Yeah, and that was 2020, early start of 2020, maybe late 2019 that he had been denounced.
Yeah, so that was his choice.
Yep.
Right. So is your level of knowledge as shallow as mine? Like you have no idea?
Probably. I am not in touch with.
Let's feel it out. Let's let Oprah tell us what to think, shall we?
Yeah.
Like 95% of the audience in America.
It's a reliable source, mate. Come on.
Family cut you off?
Yeah.
I want to go back because she actually. I don't know if she did that on purpose.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Your family.
Does she actually know that? Hold up. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Like, do you reckon? God damn.
Yeah.
How old is she? She's been kicking for a
the
while.
first quarter of
She'd be at
2020.
least 60, 80, 90?
I've got what my mum left me. And without that, we would not have been able to do this.
It's believed Harry meant his allowance from Prince Charles, an income of $4.4 million.
So this is prefaced with the fact that they've been cut off and not allowed any money. What a fucking problem. Maybe get a job.
You'd think. You'd really
He was in the military. Doesn't he get a military pension? Yes,
sure.
the answer is yes.
Well, I don't know what the privilege
He would totally get a military
but
pension.
I feel like there'd be a bit more than like the pension would be a lot
Unless
higher
it wasn't
than
a
that.
real position, ladies and gentlemen.
Australian dollars annually, but the couple is unlikely to find themselves hard up anytime soon. Their net worth is thought to be around 180 million Aussie dollars,
Not too shabby.
including an inheritance from Princess Diana and the Queen Mother, while Meghan brought millions from her acting career. A lucrative Netflix deal reportedly
shows how
worth
much I am.
125
Maybe no,
million,
she's in a TV
while
show.
podcasts with Spotify will earn them another 30.
Wait, do they have all this stuff? What?
Supposedly.
Oh, this delegitimizes everything. So they've come here and been like, woe is us. Everyone in the royal family is like super evil.
Number one.
Lol, JK, I got 125 mil from fucking Netflix and 32 from Spotify. Okay, this is complete bullshit then.
Their 9-bedroom mansion is proving a great investment.
Why
Oh my God.
3 times
You
what
don't
the
even have
Sussexes paid
children.
last June.
We're not talking about poor kids on the block here, you know.
No.
They are multi-millionaires. But then cry at the age of 36, 37 that you've been cut off by your father. Well, I don't know many people at that age.
Daddy's taking my funds away.
They'll launch the new charitable foundation Archwell in coming months,
such a douchey
but hanging over their
Doesn't it?
heads that palace inquiry into allegations Meghan bullied royal staff.
Fuck it, even if she did, and just
no mistake,
take a couple mil and give it to some homeless kids.
And the Sussexes can't agree, then we may see the Sussexes speaking out one more time.
Okay, what's the bet that they do it literally like a couple weeks before the Netflix drops or whatever this podcast $32 million deal is? We got to get one of those. Imagine if fuck, man. I don't even know what Joe Rogan's deal was worth.
Give us a little few dollars for our podcast.
We'll just take, mate, we'll take, what, 20K?
I feel like we don't even need that, honestly.
What's your floor? Yeah, I would just take $700 to buy you a good microphone.
Oh, mate. And better earphones. These ones just cover my whole head. I just look a bit like a fucking Eskimo at this point.
You should invest in some headphones.
Good, but I'm not a gamer.
You get your earbuds. I know. Okay, so the verdict's in. They're just scamming everyone, guys. They're 100% scamming everyone. So fuck them.
That's a money maker.
Super anticlimactic. I thought, we're going to have this big thing. But hey, okay. So in the real important news, so Marvel are going to debut a gay Captain America.
I think that's pretty cool.
During Pride Month. I was hoping you would say that. And I'll play the video and then I will share. No, there's been many gay. I
know Poison Ivy.
The first one was Green Lantern. Right? I was going to say Gay Lantern. He was the first one.
Awesome.
He was a black man. Also, so he was one of the.
Why the fuck did they hire Ryan?
This was after that.
Wait, no,
the Green Lantern thing is it's one of the first I'd say one of the first bigger heroes that is always changing because it's the ring.
Yeah. Okay.
So when the ring shifts from someone,
it's like the Doctor. It's not necessarily about
instead of a stupid scarf, it's a ring. Yeah. I'm not a fan of Doctor Who. Hey, we're not allowed to use that word anymore. Okay, so hopefully this isn't too rambly, but this is going to give us a bit more info into what's going on. So if you're not a nerd, shock horror I am, and I want to listen to it.
Marvel just introduced a new Captain America. As the old saying goes, Marvel giveth and Marvel taketh away. And while we're about to explore a brand new chapter of Captain America's legacy in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, courtesy of the Falcon and Bucky show on Disney Plus this Friday, Kevin Feige also crushed our hopes of seeing America's ass back on.
Did he just say this Friday? That's today. Is there a new show coming out today? Oh my god. I think I might have just come into my pants. Seriously. Streaming Friday. Fuck.
This Friday,
I thought it was a movie.
Feige also crushed our hopes of seeing America's ass back on the big screen anytime soon. Back in January, rumors began swirling about Chris Evans' imminent return to the Marvel Cinematic Universe thanks to a Deadline report alleging that Chris Evans was in talks with Marvel to return as Steve Rogers to, quote, at least one Marvel property with the door open for a second film, in the same manner that Robert Downey Jr. did after Iron Man 3, appearing in films like Captain America Civil War and Spider-Man Homecoming. And while we did our best to puzzle out exactly how Steve Rogers could return to the Marvel Cinematic Universe in our original report, we should have listened to Hawkeye's immortal words from Avengers Endgame.
Don't give me hope.
Speaking of Entertainment Weekly, Kevin Feige said, I rarely answer no to anything anymore because things are always surprising me with what...
Let's try and skip forward.
Yeah.
To about there. Yeah. And let's go. He's going to talk about it for a bit. Hot. Still single, boys, by the way.
I am.
Thomas and Martha Wayne, or my hopes of seeing a Mojo X-Men movie in the wake of WandaVision, which did that concept a little too well.
Fuck WandaVision.
Meanwhile, over on the Marvel Comics side of things, we're back over on the giveth end of the spectrum because we have confirmation of a brand new Captain America debuting this June, premiering in the United States of Captain America. This 4-issue miniseries, written by Christopher Cantwell and illustrated by Dale Eaglesham, is in celebration of Captain America's 80th anniversary. The story follows 4 characters who have all fought for truth and justice as Captain America in the past. Steve Rogers, Sam Wilson, Bucky Barnes, and John Walker as they embark on a cross-country road trip to find Steve Rogers' missing shield. Over the course of their journey, they'll encounter people from all walks of life who have taken up the mantle of Captain America to defend their own communities. Each issue will feature a backup story featuring a diverse array of talent to help introduce these new Captains America and give us insight into how and why they chose to become costume vigilantes in their own community. The first of them is Aaron Fisher, better known as the Captain America of the Railways, who I will endeavor not to refer to as Skimbleshanks the Railway Cap no matter how badly I want to. Aaron is the very first canonically gay Captain America, described as a fearless teen who stepped up to protect fellow runaways and the unhoused. Coinciding with Pride Month, Aaron's origin story will be written by Joshua Trujillo and illustrated by Jan Bazaldua. In a press release, Trujillo said, Aaron is inspired by heroes of the queer community, activists, leaders, and everyday folks pushing for a better life. He stands for the oppressed and the forgotten. I hope his debut story resonates with readers and helps inspire the next generation of heroes. Bazaldua added...
Okay, so that's I kind of just wanted to... They took ages to get to it, but my point was going to be...
The point to this.
Yeah, there is a point. Is that I think applying these sorts of like it feels like a band-aid fix to like a branded hero.
Yeah.
He's like, why are we not making new ones?
No, I completely agree.
Because like it was really cool. I said cool like super awkwardly then. It was really cool like 10 years ago when they did it with Green Lantern because there was no gay superhero.
Yeah.
I mean there was, but
we're also
it was like the first proper one.
Develop those characters now.
Yeah, it's why not make a new IP and see how it goes? Why do we band-aid it onto the franchise that they're flogging like a dead horse? I feel like it detracts a bit from it because it's like if it is a good story or whatever, it's going to be tied to Captain America, and there's no way you can continue that.
There's no.
You then have to put it in this awkward spot where they like maybe kill off Steve, who died already. But it's a comic book, so he's come back. I just think, whilst they are getting exposure and stuff, like Captain Marvel, I think is possibly gay now.
Yep, I think so.
That character has been both male and female. Make new heroes that don't suck, and that way you can just have them run parallel.
Yeah.
You don't have to do...
just run them with the same similar traits as well that these characters encompass, because clearly there's something admirable about them. Then add that character, whether they're gay, whether they're trans, whatever it is.
I think Marvel and a lot of corporations in the US, they just virtue signal to make money.
Yeah, I think that goes.
So previous to this, the LGBTQ, the end of the kind of run of the normal Avengers, so they didn't kill. They killed off and then switched out a lot of the superheroes. So Captain America is obviously Falcon. He's black. Thor and Iron Man both became women.
Yeah.
And I don't remember what happened to the rest of them. But it's just virtue signaling. Like, keep the heroes and make new ones.
No, I agree with that.
You know what I mean? Make it enriched. Like, when all this shit started, they didn't like fucking start swapping heroes in and out. They made more.
Yeah.
And then you had this rich, vibrant universe. I don't know. It just feels like they're trying to make money. And it's a bit like, in the nerd community, it's like, it's a common thing of like, if something's at you, not like to you. You know what I mean? Like
I
every single Star Wars movie after the first three.
Yeah.
It has been at Star Wars people.
Yes.
It's just,
I have not watched Star Wars, but yes.
It's a great idea, and the character's probably going to kick ass because that writer.
But they can also develop characters to be able to.
Let them make a new one, man.
It's difficult either to come up with a character. Like,
you know what happens too if it sucks? It's not a slight against all gay humans that the fucking writer was an idiot.
Yeah, exactly.
You just make another one and make another one and make another one.
Like they were doing already.
Right?
Yeah. No, so I agree with everything.
I think that's my point with a lot of stuff.
Are you a Marvel or a DC person?
I'm both. See, look, you can go down the bottom. There's Marvel stuff. You got the top. There's DC stuff.
Requires turning.
I'm a nerd. Yeah, no, I love it all. I'm not, and actually, I cop a lot of shit for liking all of it. But Batman's an amazing.
Amazing. You are.
I just like
in a diverse range of characters.
Yeah, I like good writing. I really do. But yeah, so that was a little bit philosophical-ish. Don't if it ain't broke, don't fix it, and just make new shit, man. Like I get like the Ghostbusters stuff. I still haven't seen it.
Neither, and I don't intend to. I think it's so stupid.
Ocean's 8 was okay.
Same as Jumanji. Why the fuck did they get Kevin Hart and Dwayne The Rock
they could have done something different.
The idea, the concept, because I've watched that end of Jumanji, sorry, like the original.
Mm-hmm.
They could have just made an entirely different thing. Similar concept, and it would have worked just as well.
Stand them up. Stand them up on their own.
No one could ever replace Robin Williams. Or Kirsten Dunst, which was little beauty. Like,
really? You're going to go to Kirsten Dunst? That's your go-to? The juggernaut that is Kirsten Dunst?
Robin Williams is my...
She ruined Spider-Man for me. No, she didn't. She was fine in Spider-Man.
On Mary Jane?
Mary Jane's great.
Yes. Kirsten Dunst fulfilled the role quite nicely.
She did okay.
I liked her as a ginger. She was very sexy. And badass fucking Spider-Man. Man,
Spider-Man.
I know there's a different
You mean
character.
awkwardly feminine Spider-Man?
Yeah, slightly.
Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, Tobey Maguire. I liked him. He did it very poorly, but it was good.
I know he ticks your buttons, but he didn't for me at all. What's his Andrew Garfield was pretty good.
He played the role well because he was awkward, but in a good way.
And who's the new one? He's good.
I honestly lose track. I just remember watching Spider-Man on TV when it came out when I was like quite little. It was good and scary slightly.
Yeah. No. Look, I think it's the Spider-Man series is in good hands. Fuck it. You know, give it 6 months and we'll have a female Spider-Man and see how that goes. So you know what they did? See, this is the thing. When they did the female characters back in the day, they did a She-Hulk. But it was in parallel. The Hulk didn't die or go away. They just had a female Hulk.
I feel like that's a logical.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's not fucking hard. Just
not rocket science.
Stand it up and like, oi, we found... Anyway, I'm getting stuck on the point because I get passionate about it, but...
That's okay. That definitely makes one of us. But I'm enjoying hearing you talk about it.
Fuck you. All right, what are we going into now? We are going into... Oh, that was Almost Famous. I didn't cue it. So I'm going to have to do that in post. Peter Benny. All right, so... Okay, let's go into the dating segment this week. It's going to be an interesting one, I think, right? There we go. Wait. That's 2.
That's 3, actually. You just missed the first.
I like you. How you doing?
All right. So, this week, full screen, Peter. What are you doing? And this week, I won't cut your audio.
Please don't.
Next one, I almost did it. I was thinking about it and like fucking...
Thinking about it? Am I just speaking too much tonight?
No, I was... I'm that tired today.
It's been a week and a day.
I've also made some improvements to the studio, seeing as that wouldn't fit on the tripod.
True.
I'm using the handle to stop the camera from shaking.
I am seeing that.
Everyone that's watching on Platpod on YouTube and Banuch on Twitch, or Platpod on Twitch, you'll appreciate the camera no longer shaking.
Names.
What's that?
Pretty sure it's just saying.
She's been here for a while.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just
talk like there's many people that way. We seem like we're famous.
We are famous. Manifestation. I think I just... Sorry.
You did. You gobbied the microphone.
Be a bit more enthusiastic. Calm down.
So, I hope so. But the humanity's sake. The humanity or just humanity's sake?
I like you. How you doing?
So this week we are talking about, where are my notes?
Opening. Above.
Yeah, opening. So last week we had the approach, and everyone learned that probably pay attention before you go talk to someone and see if they're crying, because that shit was awkward. If you don't know what we're talking about, you should go back and listen to episode 5.
The Crier.
Where the full story is. Yes, The Crier. That's right. It was named thusly. All right, so basically we were going to kick off with, you've spotted the person. You've actually worked up the cojones, which you learned last week, to go speak to them.
Or testicles in Italian, right?
Yeah.
I remember. I've learned the thing.
And you turned around and said hello, or...
No, not even that.
Something charming, something witty, whatever. Yeah. So, are you a fan of lines to start conversations?
Yes. I think... Well, look, I've never had it happen. But if someone came up full ball, like ballsy and all, with an opening line, absolutely would I spend at least 5 minutes with them, giving them the opportunity to show what else they have.
So, one of my friends, she's absolutely savage, and... We were out one night and a dude approached with have you heard the polar bear one before?
To break the ice.
Yeah. So it's like, you're like, hey, how much does a polar bear weigh? And then you cut her off before she says it and you're like, yeah, enough to break the ice. Peter Benici, lovely to meet you, right?
Okay. No.
And
I wasn't laughing at that. I was laughing at my next thought.
Right.
Because I was like, okay.
Well, before you shred my story, before I even get there, so this lovely human who's very dear to me, she stopped him and said, enough to dry up my vagina. Please fuck off.
That is so good. That is a brilliant come down.
Oh, man.
Wow.
That's
coolness on her.
No, she's a cool chick. Okay, what are we going with? Little Miss Tangent? No?
It was a tangent.
Yeah, go.
Because sometimes things just pop into my head. So, you're like, he interrupted. I just thought, imagine if someone came up to him and was like presenting with a doctor. They're like, knock, knock.
Who's there?
Interrupting cow. And then what if you actually did that as your opening line? You're like just really
aggressively
to
Fucking hell. But do
Sorry.
you think that would actually work? I can.
I think
Oh man. No, let's just talk it up to. That's probably not a good idea. So if there are actually any humans out there thinking of doing that, you know what? Hey,
but
you know,
it's
if it's
hilarious, I would not stop laughing.
If it's congruent with you as a person, and you are a very laughy, jokey person, and you think you can stick that landing, then by all means do it. If you're a normal human, and it's going to take more than a line to like get a conversation going, I think probably stay away from the jokes. But so you've never had the cheesy jokes and stuff?
Nah, but
I've actually never been out with friends that have done cheesy jokes. It's one of those things where if you like actually like someone and you want to pursue something with them, it's kind of a bit too much to just chance it on something stupid.
It's corny enough to like go with. Like if someone's doing it, you're like, fuck, you must be really shit out, like as far as approaching goes. To be able to pull that out of your ass means I've got nothing to my I believe I have nothing to my personality to offer, and this is as good as it's going to get as my entry line. And to me, I'm like, oh, charming. Go on, tell me more.
So we did have. There was a fabled story of a good friend of mine who lives on the other side of the pond now in Germany, and we called it the Apocalypse Opener. And the premise of this was purely just to ask a girl if she was down to fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this obviously is a high risk, high reward strategy.
Yes.
And didn't work for anyone bar this one amazing human.
I feel like I know
one
this
time.
human
No.
through reference.
Maybe. Yeah. Well, you know where they live. Yeah. So that I remember seeing that live and being like, well, that's the only time in my lifetime I'm ever going to see that.
Sir, go on, do tell. Come on.
It's just one of those moments where I think it was very much just the right time and the right, because it's one of those things where you try it multiple times and people just think you're joking and it starts a conversation, right? But I think maybe instead of a cheesy line, you know what? Hey, if it gets the people smiling and the conversation moving
You were
in the right
taking
direction.
so long. Go on, tell me. I want to know what the movie is. Apocalypse.
What move? That's it. You ask them if they want to fuck.
Oh,
Well, I
that's
said
it.
that.
Okay, I feel like I was waiting for something really intense.
Well, it's an
I feel like
apocalypse
that's my
because it never
only
works.
approach.
Yeah. Well, see, for girls, it's kind of cheating.
Yeah.
But for a guy, that's
It
very
is very
rarely going to
ballsy.
happen.
That's true.
Yeah. Well, it's so stupid because it's not going to.
Isn't it?
No.
It depends.
In which case, you'd be like, you're probably going to get an STD.
I feel like that's a good opening.
Are you clean? Actually,
Have
that
you
would be
been
quite
tested?
funny. No, you have like your screening.
You need a
and you just hand it over,
disease of
and you just don't even say anything. You just hold it,
me.
and you went, no. Fuck, you'd be terrible.
I'm trying.
That'd be funny and witty.
I am funny and witty. I'm just terrible at pickup lines.
Well, you know. But I guess, so the effectiveness of those lines, I think it's very dependent on the individual.
Yes, agreed.
And so if you were out, right, do you find your conversations happen organically, or how are the dudes busting the moves on?
Get hit on.
Will?
I think I've told you that before.
You've said that multiple times.
I don't get hit on.
I feel like you don't think you get hit on.
No, I
but
really
then-
don't get hit on. If I am interested in someone, approach them.
Yeah.
But I actually approached someone fairly recently, the night that I met you, and they were really cool. I think they were British. I don't know. They had an accent, and they had a tequila shot and pineapple juice. By the way, best chaser, fucking nuts. It's amazing as a drink. Yeah. And I just made conversation. I'm like, wow, that sounds amazing. And he's like,
you didn't answer the question. Was this at Welcome to Brunswick?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Sorry, I didn't hear it.
Fuck
I was
me.
in my
Jesus.
Look, I'm clearly unmedicated right
That's
now.
all right. Yeah.
Brain is on high drive. And yeah, so mate, like, oh, you've got to try it. Like, you've got to try it. I've been telling everyone about it, and I was kind of like, maybe. I'm just gonna get like a cider because like he's cute. Like I'll suss him out. He's ginger.
I used to.
Yeah. That,
Have. Yep. Fire crutch.
Giving you time.
No. I'm just looking. I'm setting up for the next one. Yeah.
But yeah, and he was like, yeah, try it. And I'm like, what? No, I'm good with my cider. He's like, no, I'll buy you one. I'm like, This is the first time a guy's ever bought me a drink. I got so excited.
Oh, was it the first time?
But the motherfucker left. Like, he had no intention. He was just like pure, genuine human of, you need to try this, and then walked away.
Do you think he got scared? No, that's bullshit. I don't think... I don't know if there's...
No, because I was with Raz. Like, Raz was behind me and Locke was too.
Do you think maybe he didn't see Razzie initially and then got in and then saw that it was happening?
I can't buy you a drink, mate. I can only buy her a drink. Wait, maybe she all had drink. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think what happened was that he had seen you and then maybe didn't see Razzie, then was kind of committed at that point and may have realised before the drink scenario.
The money.
Yeah. And then was like, fuck.
I don't think so. He seemed like a genuinely good dude. Like, even walked off with his girl mates. And then when I said goodbye, he's like, have a, like, just really friendly. I feel like I'm just not very good at picking up that people.
Look, I'm gonna stand firm and say a dude is not gonna randomly walk up and just...
He didn't,
because you know what?
At the bar, and I complimented his drink choice.
Yes. So I'll continue with my narrative. I've met dudes and I've met girls out, right?
Really?
You know,
Bizarre.
it just happens, right?
Crazy.
And I've never purchased a drink and then just left.
I have.
Yeah, it's different for girls. Definitely. Because it's almost like, and I would never, I guess the thing is, a big thing for me is I don't really buy drinks for people that aren't mates.
Yeah.
So I'm not paying for your time. Unless you're my friend, in which case I'll pay for all of it.
My friend.
But yeah, it's just fucking, and the thing with you, especially back in the early 2000s, a lot of girls would open with the buy me a drink. Fucking that.
Sorry, I just had to like really fuck with you for a moment.
That's disgusting. That's actually twisted. The girls would lean in, you're going to buy me a drink. And it's like, no, man, like in my crew, like if you want drinks and you're going to play that card, you get the first round and I'll get the next one. Yeah, it's like, but it got to a point, the bar that we would go to every Friday night where you would just, if they would say that, you would do that, get the drink and then fuck off because she was most likely a piece of human garbage. Like, just trying to milk free drinks. So, yeah, I think that's a big issue with opening lines is that girls will smell that and just be like, hey, well, this is from my experience. Obviously, I haven't hit on men. Not at bars anyway.
Good fun.
Fucking goddamn you. There we go. Audience is a bit sleepy tonight. Yeah. Yeah, they'll just... It's weird. I don't understand the idea in going out and then having a fake conversation for a free drink.
Niceties for it. Yeah, personally, no.
Why don't you just work and your own booze? Or pre-drink or some shit. Or what everyone else does now is drugs. Like $25.
Got it.
Good for like 4 hours.
Exactly.
So, I don't know. Okay, so the effectiveness of opening lines, the cheesy ones.
I do like...
You like them. See, but I think you would be that one scenario where it would be amazing. I feel like on the whole,
if it
not
was
so much.
There's a difference though. If it was like, as you can see, like there's a difference between men. Yeah? Yes. You can tell the difference between men in clubs at least anyway.
Do you mean all men in clubs?
Yeah, all men in clubs.
Clarify, yes.
There is a type of man, the arrogant, cocky, I'm attractive, I'm very aware of it type. If that was the type of person that came up to me and used a line, I'd actually take them seriously as they're using this genuinely, and I'd be like, ugh. If it was just like this cheesy, corny dude,
and you need to give that sexy man a chance.
Nah. He can use anything else in the books if he really wanted to. He's got the capabilities. If you're really using that, means you're a fucking moron. But,
honestly, most like super tall, attractive dudes don't say anything. They just stand there.
Yeah, that's because they're awkward. But awkward tall men need to say anything. They play aloof and mysterious, and it's like, I want a bite of that. But if you're like a really awkward person, or if you're more, I rely on my humor to get me places and you can swing it. There you go. That is your perfect option to use an opening line because it's funny. They know it's likely to not be a fucking like serious thing. It's likely to be a joke. It's a good segue and you can have a little bit of banter, and that's when you test it out. That is the appropriateness for the appropriate person. If a man though is, I don't know, you could just tell No. Use anything else but the
If you're a
line.
skeezy cunt, it's not going to work.
Oh my god, I went on a date with a person recently. No, I mean this guy was like kind of like growling. I was like, all right, that's clearly your thing. And then he's like, I don't know what it is, but I feel predatory.
Stop. No. Fucking growling.
Sir, I mean,
What do you mean?
Okay, well,
explain the growling.
Some people have like.
No, I don't understand. I've never had a person growl at me before.
That was
someone
the second
drool.
person in the week because 2 days before I slept with someone who clearly has like a primal fetish, and it was great. I got
But there's grunting. Growling is completely different.
Yeah, they were growling. Both of those men were growling.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I feel like I'm just attracting very animalistic people, if you will.
No, but okay, yeah. You're skirting the growl. Explain how.
I can't imitate a growl.
No,
Imagine
but you can
like
explain the situation as to where the growl's coming from.
Their mouths?
I just don't. I can't foresee anywhere during copulation where you would growl.
Well, if you've got a primal fetish, that's where.
But wouldn't you grunt?
No,
You'd
that's
grunt.
fucking caveman.
That's primal.
I mean, it
What do
is.
you
You're
mean?
not wrong. But I think
Thank
it's more
you.
like animalistic primal. Like prey, hunter.
Fucking, that's some furry shit, man. That is not fucking.
Look, I don't know, but I got a bite from the first guy. I was like, yeah. And then this guy said the predatory line. I'm like, do I call the police?
Are you sure you're not on like some sort of furry fetish?
No, but
bullshit?
FetLife is really good for kicksers for you guys who are, I think, in America as well, and Australia who would like to. But no, I didn't meet either of them there. But I feel like I've just attracted a certain breed of human lately.
You know what you understand? See, and you made fun of me for this.
What?
3 episodes ago when I said you only get a certain type of human on those dating apps. You're like, I'm younger. This is different. Look at me.
It wasn't a Tinder date. He was just someone.
No, I understand. I understand. But as you go into the sphere, right, and there's more and more, you will see that you'll get certain types of interactions from the apps.
Certain people, though, because like I usually have a history.
There's edge cases. Do not get me wrong.
And then now I apparently see gym dudes, and I mean, yeah, you can cluster them.
But we had this conversation, and you're now living out the kind of the what you haven't had before. So it's the Whitman sampler of dick. You're trying the top half of the box at the moment. So it'll vary down and it'll change and it'll be, you know.
Like growl. Well, the first guy was good, and I think I'm seeing him next week, so that's fun. But yeah, that date dude.
Okay. That was
unrelated.
Look, our dating topic this week. I'm not gonna lie, we were worried about this in pre-show, and next week. So we've covered the approach, and we've sharted all over the opening line.
Should we do the closing and then the going home?
Next week? So next week's going to go into the comfort. So it's after you've spoken to the person, you've managed to hit that hook point. So like
the synchrony.
Chatting, or it's even just the point of like. So we talk, and then person says, you know, because usually, like back in my day,
yeah, okay, Grandpa, go on.
Yeah, exactly. If we were talking about some funny shit and someone had like a funny story, I'd be like, "Oi, what do you guys think about X, Y, Z? Whatever the fuck we're talking about?" Because it's something that's happening right there, and it's genuine, and you're like, "What do you guys reckon?" And everyone loves to commentate on like people's fucking relationships. So if someone's in some sort of shit with their missus, that's fucking pure fire. I'd be like, hold that story, get as much as I can, and then just go and see what the randoms would think about it, right? Once you get past that point, there comes what we'll talk about next week, which is like when you start to get to that, we've started talking. Oh, that makes it sound cheap and nasty.
Exactly
I would say establishing a connection. Right?
Okay.
Thank you. It's all about well,
Righto.
you know, hey, at 21, all right, I get. You're just looking for the us.
I'm not 21.
Man, you don't even need any.
I had an extra
I know.
2 years.
I'm chucking it down.
Yeah, I can see. Emotional maturity is about your age.
That's right. Exactly. I'm about the emotional maturity of a 4-year-old.
14-year-old.
I would throw my fecal matter if I could.
I mean, fair enough.
Hilarious.
You also play with toys, figure dolls.
Collect toys, and
I'm just shitting on it because I know it's easy.
It's actually not. You know when you come to terms with it and you love it, and it doesn't matter.
Can't relate. Not a geek. Just kidding. I totally am. But I'm more like the Doctor Who supernatural, like.
Yeah. The turbo version stuff.
Different. Yeah.
TV
turbo.
The ones where the nerds are like, there was this divide, and I won't dwell on this too much. There was a divide in the nerd kingdom when all the vampire shit came out, and every other nerd was like, vampires. Are you fucking serious? Do they glitter? What? My vampire was Blade. And it's like, bruh, do you remember how much shit you used to cop for liking Star Wars and Spider-Man?
All the fucking
and
shit.
the Transformers and G.I. Joes, which
Side
a lot of
note
people still
though,
don't know.
Team Edward or Team Jacob?
The actor for Jacob irritates me.
About the actor.
Yeah.
The character.
The actual characters, I didn't find either of them entertaining or any developed in any way, so I didn't have any attachment. Because the storyline was dog shit and the acting was even fucking worse.
Yeah,
I went to a
everyone
midnight
who's in
fucking
Twilight
screening for
hated
that
Twilight.
shit. I was dragged to that, and I never dragged my partner to a midnight screening of anything. And I lived, mate. I saw the midnight screening.
I mean, you were
every Star Wars movie, all the Lord of the Rings movies, all the Matrix movies, and every single Marvel movie coming up to when I was like 28, 29. The Twilight screenings was some of the worst time-wasting, vapid, empty experiences. There, at no point do you need to see that at midnight.
I dragged my dad to take me to the cinema to the midnight screening.
Because you were
Twilight.
12.
I was 12, literally.
See? And that's more...
And
the person
I
that I
watched
liked
it
that was watching it was like 28
10
or
times.
29.
No, but I was reading
You were a
Breaking
child. At
Dawn
least that
in
shit
year
was
5,
entertaining
which
for
had
you.
sex scenes in the book. Thank you very much.
Yeah. That's all I'm
Very
saying
mature
is...
for a year 6.
I haven't read the books and I'll never read the books. So
Okay.
try
I mean,
that
the
angle.
fact that 50 Shades of Grey was based off them and also not actually about BDSM, just like poorly and shittily written. Yeah,
That's how sexually repressed most people. I was going to use a specific one, but I think you understand that without saying it, side of things, they're that sexually repressed that something so fucking terrible can just become this whirlwind of like, couples need to start fucking properly.
Sexual desire is a thing and you need to maintain it, and the best way to do it, novelty.
I think a lot of dudes idolize their partner when they get married, but don't understand that you it's not bad to disassociate and like have single person sex with your partner.
Yeah, I don't ever understand that, but to be fair, no.
I was going to say, what's the longest relationship you've had?
3.5
Someone who's had
years.
long relationships. Yeah, so but do you get the slide into like
Different sex, yeah. When I moved in,
Yeah.
so I dated and lived with my first ex that I lived with because like I moved out at 16 and we moved together when I was 17. We lived together for 2 years out of the 2.5 relationship.
I'm going to prison.
We were the same age.
Yeah, no, I know.
Okay.
I don't know what we can and can't put on can't put on podcasts these
We
days. I
can.
should do
We'll
one of
both,
those.
yeah, 16, 17 we lived together.
You still living together at 16 and 17.
Well, I moved out at 16 and then 17 till 18.
How and why? Legally, can you?
I moved out at 16.
Legally, can you?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I was separated because I was like living on like Centrelink. I was isolated, living as an independent person. And had work, all the things.
Oh, hell no!
Yeah. Hell yeah. But yeah, and I think after that first year of living together, you know, there was like this nagging and it was harder to like maintain, you know, obviously sex drops off or at least it reduces, and there's all these like chores and all the ugly traits of the partner that you have kind of comes out. My last relationship didn't, because we never lived together. We didn't see each other much at all. So sexual desire was always there. We were having single person sex.
Do you feel
with
like
each
that
other
was just
all
your
the time.
but your relationship hadn't progressed to a point, even though time had. Like the actual
emotionally, it
relationship
took
was just
so
still,
long. Like he took a year and a half to say he loved me.
So you were just having this every week,
Yeah,
which is
and it
what
was fucking good though.
couples
Best sex
should
of my
strive
life.
to have. Yeah, but like that's
Emotional
amazing.
connection, nah. So I mean, you know, you got to balance it.
I think you just got to talk about it or want it.
Well,
It's
want
weird. I think some people. This is going to sound really almost disconnected, but I think a lot of people don't want to have that with the person they're going to live with forever.
No, but that's the thing. It's called the Madonna whore complex, right? There's actually a phenomena where most men separate this identity of their partner as, oh, she's wife, virgin, she's mine, possessive style.
Yeah.
She can't be this slutty, sexy, you know, heterosexually speaking. And so that cognitive dissonance fucks the relationship and you can't separate it. You can be sexy and desirable in a relationship, and you can also be a fucking good wife who raises your kids if that's the dynamic that you choose to unfold into. But I agree, it's a complete disconnect.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, good. I'm glad. I thought I was shooting in the
No.
dark.
It's actually a phenomenon. So yes, you're in the.
I wouldn't call it a phenomenon. It's fucking depressing.
It is depressing, but it's still a thing.
Yeah. Oh, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So I think going forward, I love how we're talking about like initiating the conversation, and that goes straight into like long-term relationship standard boring sex
trajectory.
That's all right.
Well, that's what you want to do when you are dating and like meeting people. So the trajectories, we're on the right path slowly.
Yeah.
Just ahead very quickly. Yes.
You just got to. I think you have to keep. It sounds cliched, keep the flame going, but just fucking try.
Yeah, well, you can do
in the back of the
anything.
head.
Why do you think people in magazines are constantly like, have the best sex of your life, spice it up in the bedroom, like all this shit, because couples lose that. But the best way to do it, novelty. Dressing up, doing new positions.
We read this article and like we totally spiced up.
But you know that there would be couples that actually do that.
Yeah, and at which point you're fucked and you should just tee it up.
No, you're not fucked because you want to try. It is when the person in your relationship actively stops caring and stops trying. That disconnect is the hardest thing to come back from. If you've lost sex, if you've lost XYZ, that's fine. But if you've lost connection to your partner, that is the harder thing to get back.
Well, yeah, but I don't think the connection. Do you really think that?
Yep. Because connection is, well, I guess a better stance to come from than where I was about to go with is when you feel disconnected, everything is separated from you. It's like you're in a glass box and you can't, everything that you see is intangible. You know that that's what you need and you don't have it, you can't access it, but it's almost there, but you can't feel it, you can't grasp it. But when you have that connection, sex is easier, conversations are easier. Like I had that a lot with my ex. It was this, we'd feel connected, we'd have these really beautiful moments together, and I was like, holy shit, things are looking up. We're going to be together. I can see, I've got hope, like, and that's what, builds you up. And then it was the separation, the miscommunication, the lack of effort and trying, and you're like, I feel like I'm screaming for what I need. I can't be heard. And they are saying, I can't meet your needs.
That's a massive insight. Guys do not think, I do not think of relationships to that caliber at all.
I have very intense relationships, to be fair.
Well, I think we've gathered that. But yeah, that's super involved. And I think you
guys are very simple. You will
good food, good
message
sex,
in
company.
the day and you'll be like, yeah, hey, how you going? It's like, oh, the question mark. He didn't put an emoji. What's going on? Is he upset with me? Fuck. And then you'll send paragraphs and you're like, what the fuck? I just said, how are you?
Yeah.
That's literally how it goes. I had the same conversation with my housemate. He was like, my partner, like, I don't know what to do because like she said this and she just sends me all these messages. I'm like, reassure her. That's all she needs. You just need to reassure, because we go off on crazy brain tangents. You guys are like,
yeah.
As much as it's simple and it's great, it's a lot harder because we're over analytic. We'll read into messages that don't need to be read into.
I think at that point, communication's
communication's number one.
But ironically enough, I think at that point, the overthinker needs to say that and say, I'm spinning out because
that
I'm
all the
running
time.
late. Yeah.
But that can also be too much for the person who's taking it, especially if they're emotionally avoidant. It's like, I can't handle
if you're getting a fucking barrage and then when they say that and it's part of the barrage, it'll get dismissed. So it's more about like reading it when it's happening and getting it in before.
Yeah, observe rampant
vomiting everywhere.
Mode for sure.
That was a lot.
Sorry.
Enjoy that, motherfuckers. That was great.
Sorry, that was a lot.
Don't apologize. It was great. It was good. It was amazing. It was fantastic.
Okay, calm down.
Can
I have a sip of your beer? I will not drink.
You've got a full beer. You can have my beer. I think that's still quite full though. That beer. Do I have to open another one?
No news is good news.
All right. Sweet. I think I'm going to redo these. We should get some new ones. What do you reckon?
Yes.
Cool. I'm going to just positively reinforce everything I say. So.
You're just like nodding. I'm like, yes, sure, okay.
All women should give anal on the first date. That's right. Exactly.
No, don't do that.
Hey, we know.
Now, to get onto the consent app, don't do anal for the first day unless you have signed a consent form.
So, all right, let me kick over to the lovely humans that are watching the VOD without turning audio off. See, now we have...
Likes the video.
Yeah, well, the video is great. So if
we're
you
very
do want to
descriptive,
watch
and
it,
you can just see me looking like a frog the entire time.
we do make the effort to get changed and dressed stuff.
I actually do. I put on makeup. That's pretty rare. I never put on
I don't
makeup.
do my hair, but, it's fine. I'm male. We
I
can
get
get away
upset
with
about
it.
that too. Good.
Yeah, I need a hairstyle. I've had a hairstyle for many years, but...
Go to a hairdresser then, mate. There's a solution.
Yeah, I do have a hairdresser, and she's phenomenal. But I think it's the... Oh, we forgot the chicken slap!
Got to do it
I'm
now.
going to put this in as news.
It is news.
Guys...
Like, no.
Fucking, I need a car screech, but I don't have one. We have entered. So we've had COVID. We're trying to figure out what the fuck's going on with relationships and all that.
And now we're
bullshit.
about to have salmonella.
Someone has cooked a chicken with the power of slap.
Slap in the base.
That's right. So this engineer in the US has designed a system that slap cooks a chicken. And I'll get to the part because it's a very long ass winded video. But long story short, the process was they learned obviously they were pulverizing the chicken before getting into it, shattering the bones and all this and that. So the system was developed whereby it would skim it was like the back to the relationship side of things. Like sex, you got like the hard slap and you got the one that like kind of cuts the ass, right? Like, hits it on the way past. It doesn't hurt, but it there's a transfer of energy, right? So this guy creates this Thank you, Blue
not
Goat.
making good noise. Wait. No, wow.
That's
I'm not
going
going
to be coming
it for a
through
full time.
quite a lot.
Okay,
I think.
I'm better.
Yeah, it was loud. I was hearing it through this. But anyway, so he's developed a machine that'll slap the chicken just right to heat it up and cook it. So we'll get into...
60! Oh, man. This guy.
Oh, yeah. We'll get his excitement, yeah.
It's cooked! Oh my god! I mean, alright, let's eat it! A portion of this video was sponsored by HelloFresh. The chicken you see here is the only one on Earth ever cooked by the power of slaps. And as funny as that might sound, the engineering required to pull this off was no joke. A couple months back, I posted a video investigating a question as old as time. How many slaps would it take to cook a chicken? The results were incredibly promising, increasing the chicken's temperature by as much as 16 degrees C above ambient. With the original rig destroyed by our testing, we were back at square one, but boy did I have a lot of suggestions on where to go from here. My comments and my Discord were both flooded with
Alright, so yeah, he's building it up.
Chicken slapper.
Trying to slap cook a chicken was a very involved process for me. Okay. So they get to the point where he basically just hand cooking the chicken and cooked a steak instead.
I like that.
Because he was worried about
right?
They basically I think it's sous vide when you kind of like heat cook it in water.
Yeah. I know the one.
They
like vacuum seal
heat cooking it in water. That's a fucking... There you go. Heat cooking it in water is now what people call boiling.
Delicious.
And
heat cooked chicken.
I love my heat cooked chicken. Let me find the steak so you can see. He actually did an okay job, but when he explains...
Oh, delicious.
So...
The smell, it smells like steak.
He's talking about the steak, obviously.
No! Oh my gosh, it's got pink in the middle. Holy look at that. It's time to take a bite.
It looks like he's actually done it spot on for medium rare.
I would eat it.
It needs a bit more, but obviously slap cooking
it could
has its
also be
limitations.
a thinner cut.
He purposely picked like a super tough piece because it was going to get tenderized for about 4 hours.
It's time to take a bite. Full disclosure, I got about the toughest piece of meat I could, reasoning that the slapper would like beat the life out of it. So appearance-wise, it looks kind of almost like soft. It feels kind of soft.
He's got like a silver side cut, so it's just it's not steak. He calls it steak, but he's
Man, I can't believe I am eating something that came off the slapper. Honestly,
so uncomfortable. Pretty good.
The texture is kind of the texture is pretty bad. It basically tastes like you've been chewing it for a minute already.
That's fucking disgusting.
If you can get past that, it actually tastes pretty good. I can't believe it.
So if you can get past the texture of a slapped chicken tasting having the texture of mush, yeah, it tastes all right.
Not bad.
You know what? That's fucking awesome. And This guy needs to slap cook some more shit.
I agree.
I wanted to slap cook a soup because he puts it in like a vacuum seal thing. You could put like the veggies in there and slap cook actually, and the noise would be fantastic.
It really would. I'd like to slap generally, but yes.
All right, but we picked up that little tidbit.
Yes.
So the consent app. Do you want to hit him with just a quick little what it should be, or what was the article that they were talking about on the consent app?
So the article essentially is about a police officer.
I think this is. Are you sure Junkie's not like a meme?
No, Junkie's like a proper.
There's a news
just for the youngsters. Where I think it was the commissioner, Mick Full, I think that was his name. I don't know. Pretty much said, well, you know, and I think he was quite serious in it too. We should create a consent app, and I think he's the New South Wales commissioner. Yep. We should create a consent app to like prevent these assaults that are happening and rah. So make sure that everyone gets their back sorted.
Not how
anything goes.
Or how like sexual assault works.
No, people don't give two shits. Sexual assault is about power. So if you're going to say, oh, sign a form, oh, cool, I'm just going to go assault. I was about to use I probably shouldn't be so visceral with my words. But yeah, essentially.
Because that's not the R word, madam.
No, that's the other R word.
Thank you.
2 R words.
Some of us are learning and don't confuse us.
Okay. Probably just a better thing. Trigger warning.
I burped away from the microphone?
Yeah, I don't do that. I don't believe in that.
Oh, yeah.
Manners don't
Trigger
matter.
warning. Yeah, sorry, guys. We're going to talk about...
sexual assault and rape. So please do not listen any further about this because I will probably go on a big tangent about it. I think that this is absolutely a load of horseshit. It's bullshit. I think there are many things wrong with the statement that was made. Not only is it naive, but I think it's very, very dangerous. Firstly, to assume that rapists are going to ever listen to something like this when we
have the app. Why would they have the app?
Shit, man. Like,
I guess the big thing for me, and a lot of the things to make men feel women comfortable, is we're missing the key point of the guys that do that shit don't do that.
Would you find the app helpful?
So, because the argument is that the app's for guys, right? Like,
I think
just
it's
the thing for dudes.
for everyone.
I looked at these tweets. Ready? Here she is. A consent app is just about protecting men. Yes, it is, right? Cool. What's your point, Aaron Riley, who's wearing a fucking... Are you trying to tell people you're in a helicopter? Cool, you have kids. I'm happy for you. Anyway, moving on.
No, but you need to consider a few things. Yes, it fundamentally misunderstands consent. Also, because we've already talked about this, consent is ongoing. You don't sign beforehand. Yeah. What if I'm making out with a person and all of a sudden I'm like,
bitch, you need
I've been in this situation and someone says, hey, I'm feeling predatory of you. Then I go, yikes, I'd like to get out. Had I been signed a consent form, then shit, could he do anything? Like, you need to think about that. And then you also
everyone
need
at Apple
to
Marketing, we're going to hand out some Apple Watches and we will dynamically allocate consent at any time. So if you have an iPhone,
just swipe. I'm not interested anymore.
No.
You get a buzz. Get out of it.
Based on your heart rate, it's like because only people that have Apple Watches will get this joke.
Very elitist, but all right.
When you're working out and you finished, it's like, are you still working out? Or when you're walking and your heart rate's gone up, are you currently walking and working out?
If you're masturbating.
So it'll be like me. I masturbated 5 kilometers today. It's great. You could be mid-sesh and it'd be like your heart rate spikes. Be like, are you still consenting to this pounding?
I like that. That's a really good consideration. No, but it's fucking dumb though. And like, if you also think about people in relationships,
it's completely impractical, and I doubt that man's ability as a police officer to detect a threat.
And coercion is a thing. No, it's a dumbass fucking thing. They
also
didn't think about it.
Comments like a consent app is entirely about protecting men.
Not entirely.
How is that a bad thing that guys that are worried have clear indicators so that they don't step into grey area? Because
of those, they should just...
Okay, but in a real world where it happens and has happened, right, that would be fine. Okay? It's not a one-size-fits-all solution.
I'm not against the idea of the app.
The app is fundamentally R-worded and isn't practical. Yeah. But what I'm saying is, because you're on the other side of the pond, doesn't mean that shit like that isn't helpful.
And it's
I'm pointing
not entirely
at
about it. The idea is just fucking flawed. What was the other points? Yeah, it distracts from better solutions. Yeah, agreed.
If you need to have it explained to you, hang on, shit.
Heck. You have explained to you well consent.
Yeah, so if you need to have it explained to you while a consent app is a terrible idea, perhaps you should just exit the conversation and just listen. Again, you don't get to dictate that, Amy. Sorry, not my Amy. I love you. This is not you at all.
It's not you.
If this was you, maybe we'd have problems. But like, maybe they're virtue signaling.
App is problematic on many levels. Yep, but one of the most considered. Yep. Yeah.
Hang on, no, but one of the most you need to read it because people can't read.
Oh, sorry. Okay. I'm just nodding. Yep.
Fucking
okay.
Yep. Great idea.
So Madeline Heyman-Reber has said the creation of a consent app is problematic on many levels, but one of the most concerning is that the concept continues to center the victimhood of an abuser rather than the consent of their sexual partner. Men still get it. I agree with the sentiment of what's being said, not what has been said directly.
That's great. No one is stopping other people from creating or having ideas.
Yeah, ideas are
To think that a police commissioner in his late 50s to early 60s is going to have woke, progressive ideas.
That's just
I don't
straight out of the
know
question.
if these people with the blue check mark can remove their heads from their asses.
No, that's everyone on the... We have an opinion currently.
I know, but we have I have centered opinions that can change dependent on the conversation, right? Like I'm not like a staunch left or right.
Yeah. You're centric.
I'm a human being that has
open mind,
the understanding that things aren't, you can't adhere to a brand of life.
No.
And if you do, you've got issues. But
that's another conversation.
Offer some suggestions because the old 60-year-old blokes have got no fucking idea.
No, they don't.
And they're trying to get it done, right? Because he's like, well, I don't know. When we used to go out and get drunk, right?
Yeah.
Things are pretty straightforward, even though apparently they weren't. So he doesn't have the circuitry and they're in a different headspace and like trying to like fit the square peg through the round hole, no matter how much like your blue check mark wants to whinge about it. It's not going to work, man.
No, it won't. And I agree with that.
And it's just fucking exhausting that it's this echo chamber of fucking pointing out it's almost the hyper worst, and I don't know if that's a sentence, take on every person's words. So like that bloke, the bloke's a fucking police officer. So at some point, I think in his brain, he thinks he helps people, right? You'd hope.
I mean,
and if not,
especially if you're a commissioner, right?
Yeah. If not, I don't know. But we can assume that people that are police officers at some point want to do good, right? I think that's not crazy.
But yeah.
But I think they would even like go backwards and forwards. It's not.
I agree. Nothing's linear.
Like even the Nazis probably had days where they're like, maybe we're just going to chill.
Maybe we
and
shouldn't
like,
shoot someone.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just take a coffee.
And exactly. So like.
Bad.
What do you mean?
Anyway, go on.
So I think yeah, the conversation needs to be the app's not a good idea. Let's not turn it into bashing dudes and not having an idea, because let's be real, the majority of guys aren't getting in these situations.
Can I go a little bit against that grain?
Sure. You're saying the majority of men rape?
No, they definitely don't. Okay. But I want to go a little bit off grid here and say, but the majority of women get assaulted. So while, it's not all men, and not pointing into the not all men thing, because look, it's not all men. I think that's been made abundantly clear, but it's the fact that every single female I know has been assaulted, has been raped, or has in some way felt sexually coerced or uncomfortable.
Agreed.
Literally every female I know has felt unsafe at nighttime in those circumstances.
Yeah.
So
I guess if we stay centered on like
when we stay centered on that topic, when it comes to that mindset and you hear, okay, there's an app for men to do, you go into this mindset of, why the fuck are you considering this person? Why aren't you considering the assault, etc.? I understand the mindset of where they're at. I think that dialogue, like the one that we're having currently, is so important because, yes, it's important to acknowledge all these assaults, but it's also important to acknowledge, yes, it's not all men necessarily.
Yes,
you're right. The police commissioner, he's fucking old. Does he have very woke ideas? Probably not.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
But he has good intention. And we should also look at intention, because sometimes behaviors and functions of behavior and the forms of them are differently aligned or perceived.
I think we could just pivot off this idea being shit and move into something else.
Yeah, sounds good.
Right? Like, sorry, I didn't mean it like that. I meant like, no, well, no, I wasn't.
Of conversation, sorry.
No, not at all.
Someone say that to me, and I'm like, all right, cool.
No, not at all. I guess what I was trying to say was that there needs to be more ideas from the apparent majority of people that are being assaulted, right? And there needs to be
like sex education programs about consent in schools would probably be a really not just the men.
Push all that shit out.
No, but they don't have that shit. They need.
That's what I'm saying, though.
I agree.
I'm saying.
They need solutions. If you've got problems, make solutions.
And you've got your blue check mark. Get out there, because that shit's fucking. No. Yeah. It's really fucking hard to get verified.
Really?
Unless you're a journalist, in which case, go fuck yourself.
If you have over 1,000 followers.
No, so it's not. Especially on Instagram, it's really fucking hard to get a check mark. Yeah.
Right.
So you basically need to be verified by the news agency. So a lot of media outlets control who would be verified, and that's a problem with that. And a conversation for another time. But I think if they're trying to provide solutions, do not get triggered. Have a conversation about it, or offer an alternative.
I'll agree with the last two. Saying don't get triggered. People
yes. So, okay, I'll rephrase that.
Go on.
We need to get out of a mindset where people are looking for areas, because let's be real, like from all of this and whatnot, like if everyone, I guess if you're right, like if literally every female has been assaulted in the world, right, then fuck. But we need to have that conversation and address that literally every female in the world has been assaulted.
There's separate conversations to be having, but they're both still.
But I feel like that's important to say instead of this shit is about protecting men.
I agree.
Be like, because that's the important thing that dudes need to understand, is that, because when you said that to me, I was like, well, fuck, if that's real, that's cooked. Yeah. But that's not the conversation that's happening. These are the stupid fucking conversations that are happening.
It's not enough. It's not.
And how reductive is that?
It's not providing information.
No, they're jerking their female equivalent dicks. How the fuck do you get a blue check mark and be that boring?
Each their own with their opinions on that, but I do agree for the need for alternative and for.
But if you're a voice for it,
if you have a platform, you need to educate. You need to use that platform in order to inform policy, to inform education, to inform support, whatever it is. I agree with that.
But it's just such a basic thing. If you like, okay, I'll put it to you this way, right? If someone was to post something about World of Warcraft or anything IT based, and it was like really uninformed, I'd be like, well, actually, this is the real thing, right? I wouldn't. I mean, I'd either call the guy an R word or go into it. I guess it's. I don't know, to me, and I'm getting stuck on it because it's fucking annoying me, is that there's a genuine point that can be made that has such gravity and such, you know.
But once again, it goes back to that extremist point that I talked to you about last week with like Clementine Ford. It's the extremists that always position themselves and their vocal platform in a way that is extremist, and it discredits the whole point of the movement that's being had. Like we had a march recently. And it was powerful. It was so wonderful to be able to see my friends like with their what's the word?
Joke that I gotta leave it. I can't
remember. Fuck.
Comedy is failing right now, guys.
Can you help me with the word?
No, I can't say anything because I have a penis.
Thing when they
a placard.
Yeah, like they have placards. Like I had friends who posted their things, and it was so nice to be able to see. And their own creative spin on it, and they were marching for something that they were passionate about. I would have, but I was at work. But it's so nice to be able. That's the platform that I like to see. I like to see education.
What was the protest in general? ScoMo 1 or the NSW? Oh, the ScoMo thing. Okay, yeah. But then we'll fixate on what a bigot said.
Just feminist rally, really. And protest.
So he was trying to play it down. Prime Minister thinks
I'm pretty
women
sure
should
it
be
was to
grateful
do with the stuff that's
that we weren't got for rallying for our own safety. Advising him, this is cooked. I would agree. But men are very data based. So logic. So you could throw in some stats, like we said. That's what I mean. Like what you said was just it was so kind of astute and needed. That's not the message that's communicated. Like it is. But I guess maybe there needs to be data and stuff as well with it.
Data does not help much. I do have to say though, because I've been sharing quite a lot on my social platform. Not as much as a lot of the people I do know, but I've been seeing a lot of my male friends, like allies, posting about this stuff, acknowledging that it's a problem, and that's a big step too, to have males encouraging that education to say this is a problem. I think that's the best thing that I can do at the time. No, it's
honestly,
not all of
big point.
It's not all your faults. You're not all fucking raping. Agreed.
Yeah.
But it's nice to have support and for the acknowledgement of this is clearly a problem for most women.
Yeah.
And
ironically enough, bringing it back to the actual podcast, I think a large portion of where this comes from is the fact that things like dating and sexual encounters they're not even grazed upon at school. Like they wouldn't talk about like the right way to approach someone, or they wouldn't talk about like, I think they're doing it now.
The dialogue about casual sex, conversations, consent,
Yeah.
like none of that was
Good
taught
luck
to
in a
me.
Catholic school getting that shit.
Oh my god, no, they're just like, if you use a condom, God hates you.
Yeah.
Have babies at 16.
But if your boys want you to get sucked off in the back by the priest, it's
Have a
all
bobby,
good.
mate. You all right? Just
Yeah, boys. Look at Tommy go. Son. Go. Finish.
Thank you. Should have let me finish before, but all right. Typical man. Just kidding.
Father Tom does what he wants. All right. Yeah. So, I think that's the big thing is communicating the correct points instead of the outrage will get. Because what a lot of those chicks don't get is that like they're just filling Karen faces, and as soon as you're gonna like basically flag that you're a Karen, your fucking opinions
It's
mean
redundant.
dick.
Yeah.
Like nothing.
Coming from empathic stances, warm stances, open-minded stances, and creating that dialogue where
Well,
you
just-
allow men
you know
to
what?
share.
You can be flat about it and be like, "Oi, this is the data." Like,
But that's not for
I know
everyone.
you don't like data. I know you don't like data. but-
I do. I've done statistics every year
Yeah.
of my degree,
Okay.
and I've
No,
done
but
two.
I
I'm
guess
doing
I-
2 theses now, so
yeah,
I like data.
It's fucking powerful shit, man.
It is powerful, but not everyone appeals to logic. And then you've got confirmation bias. If I actually give you more logic and you believe something the other way, it will quite
you can
literally deter your opinion even more.
Confirmation bias, I think, leads to people just being ignorant.
Yeah. Well,
and then that's look. At the end of the day, if a dude or a person wants to think a certain way so hard,
then you're a fucking moron. They're lost cause.
You can have conversations with them, but they will most likely run out, and you should definitely reassess and have the conversation with someone.
I would cry.
but-
I've had those conversations with some people sometimes where I'm so passionate about something that they don't
It's an old school
understand.
log thing.
In high school, I did it.
Yeah.
I had a friend who, not obviously a friend anymore, but they misgendered a trans friend, and they intentionally said, they were like, I would intentionally misgender a person. And I got really passionate and kind of screamed down their throat. And I was like crying my eyes out saying, how can you be like such a fucking disgusting human for like not, but
Yeah.
I mean, to each their own with opinions. Obviously there's going to be some people who just don't respect that, and that's their opinion. They do have that right to their opinion. But I was so passionate about it, and they're just like, you're so fucking aggressive and too much. And I was just like crying my eyes out. I'm like,
with that point of view with the trans identification stuff. I guess at a certain point, if it does get you so out of shape and stuff, it's cool. Like maybe just don't say it around the people and whatever.
And I learned that. I learned when
And-
to have dialogues with certain people and who I can actually converse with. We're having a healthy conversation where there is some disagreement or at least some juxtaposition in the
Yeah.
way that we think. And
Yeah.
it's healthy. I don't feel like I'm
Yeah.
going to cry. I feel like I could have an
hope not.
adult conversation.
Yeah.
I might cry.
Can we have an
I
app
might
for that?
cry in my car home.
No, you can't have an app for that, you pig man. Oh, fucking sorry.
But I feel like we can have a
That's-
dialogue, and I feel like
Yeah.
we can have a serious dialogue about stuff without feeling like I need to yell at you to get my point across and to actually be able to respect yours. I wouldn't have been
Yeah.
able to have that with some of the people that I've known.
Yeah. Look, I guess it's because people feel I guess I have to think.
Go on.
Because I can't say like straight off the hip. When people feel like they're wrong or they're stupid, they get their back up. So if someone was to say like, I almost said rock. So that person, you got to refer to them in a certain way. And then the other person didn't do that and they were made to feel a bit stupid. You get this weird emotional ping where they're like, oh, no, I have this programming that says I should feel this way.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to double down on that and I'm going to get in my little fucking behind my shield and you can kiss my ass because this is what I've got in my wheelhouse and it's not going to change.
Yep.
And I've seen it with close friends. It's just like, it's about letting go of ego.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is like, if you like, mate, think about if you walked into a house and there was a fruit bowl and you're like, can I have that pear? And the person's like, that's not a fucking pear, that's an apple. You're like, fuck, sorry, can I have the apple?
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't second guess that shit.
Yeah.
Right? But because you're referring to someone and there's that, I guess, you know what it is too, is it's definitely coming from the affirmative side that, like, I can show you so many things at universities and stuff where they're like, don't use gendered language and all this sort of shit. And it's like, well, how about we live in the real world where people use gendered language and you chill out and stop making people feel bad for like saying those sorts of things and have the conversation where it's like, sorry, man, but like, I'm whatever. And they're like, cool, no worries. And people might do what I do and just use names now.
Names work.
I just use names. Like, that's it. Fuck you all. I'm just using names.
Yeah.
Like,
and if you're
straight
calling
up.
them by the name that they identify with,
and don't get me started on phonetically spelled names.
that's a
that
different.
differ
That's an
from,
issue.
like-
That is a completely separate issue.
There is a special place in hell for those people.
Oh my god.
Oh, you spun it.
All right.
Did it lose? Was that
Lose some
I
grip.
can't wait to watch that video bit. But we've definitely, this may be one of the
We've
longest
so long.
podcasts we've had.
Well, remember we
Um,
had like 20 to 30 minutes of just playing before we spoke.
No, I did like. Oh yeah, true. The
So we're
thing
about
has. Yeah,
roughly a bit
good,
longer than usual,
good. But mate, we got a bit philosophical.
we covered over some good things though, and I'm glad. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think tonight's
People are gonna get so confused.
conversation
Like,
was
I
good.
came here to learn about how to.
Yeah,
get the
I'm
pussy and the
here to have
penis.
fun. Next week's
Yeah.
episode is how to give head.
Yeah, true. Is it the
The
wedding?
make or break it moment instead of the hook, line, and sink. What is it?
Spitters are quitters. That's all I'm saying, team.
Agreed. We swallow here.
I need more sounds.
You do.
It's Sasha Gray's getting her.
Rod Durner.
Yep. Sorry, spaced out. That's getting cut. All right, guys, we're gonna put a pin in it, and we're gonna enjoy the rest of our evening. Thank you, everyone, for listening. We usually have a sign off, but it's super casual today. Follow us on all of the medias. I do have a not bad, good sized podcast. Thanks, Matt.
Not bad, good size.
It is a good sized podcast. So it's IRR Plat Pod on all media.
Mhm.
So that is Spotify, Audible, Apple Podcast,
YouTube.
Google Podcast, YouTube. Yeah, and get amongst it. Talk to people and share it. That's going to be a big thing for growth going forward.
Yeah, we need your support. We are a small podcast and we're hoping to develop this. And if you guys have anything you want to add to it, please bring in some questions or topics that we can cover because, you know, we're always
Full
looking for some
disclosure, I want to go to
inspiration.
pubs and get free alcohol to do this.
Ditto.
Right.
Yeah, recommendations, topic ideas, anything that you think is interesting, we'll add it in if it's good enough.
Big thanks to Christine for the feedback, Shannon for the feedback. Who else emailed through for feedback? Mum and Dad for the feedback.
Yeah, my friend Hannah for the verbal feedback.
Yeah, that's it. So, no, thank you. We do appreciate it. It is good to get a gauge of if this is good or not. Yeah, thank you. And I'm going to slap at that outro, motherfuckers.
What are you waiting for?
I'm waiting. The car's cold. Get
Get the fuck out of here! What? Fucking warming up. Get out of here!
All right.
You heard the man. Get out of here. Thanks for listening to Irrelevant Platitudes.